CNN is at a loss. They're not used to all the winning. They predicted doom and gloom and despair and the ceiling and sky falling. And yet things actually keep going Trump's way, Mike Johnson's way, the Republicans' way. They tried to play gotcha with Tennessee Congressman Tim Burchett yesterday, and it was another disaster. When will CNN ever learn? And Tim Burchett, he's fast becoming one of our favorites here. He's like the John Kennedy of the House. I want to show you that exquisite moment coming up in just a second. But as we monitor the happenings at the House of Representatives right now, Hakeem Jeffries going on a record-breaking speech now. Where are we? In the seventh hour now, or coming up on the seventh hour of this speech. It's ridiculous. He's delaying the inevitable. This is what losers do, right? But if he ever shuts his yap, we're going to have something pretty special happening in the House of Representatives. The votes are there. There's no mystery anymore. Congressman Greg Steube of Florida this morning on Fox News, he sort of gave away the store and revealed exactly what's about to happen.
Are Republicans ready to land this plane?
Yeah, I mean, you're not hearing from any members. You got the rule passed last night. You're not hearing from any members that they're a no on the actual bill, except for Mr. Massey. So I think we're going to be able to land this plane as soon as Hakeem Jeffries gets done talking. I don't know how long he's going to go. Originally, they thought he was just going to speak an hour, and he's still speaking. So the moment he's done, the speaker will then have probably a minute or 2 minutes to speak. Actually, he can speak as long as he wants to, but he's not going to speak for 8 hours. And then we're going to get to a vote. And so hopefully by the end of the day today, President Trump will be having a big, beautiful bill on his desk.
Yeah, in fact, the White House has already announced that they're going to do a signing ceremony tomorrow on the 4th of July, maybe right before the fireworks are shot off. Boy, he's got a sense of flair and style and theatrics, doesn't he? What is Hakeem Jeffries up to? Well, the House doesn't technically have a filibuster, but the leaders of each party can talk as long as they want, the majority leaders or the Speaker of the House for that matter. And Hakeem Jeffries is exercising that right, I suppose. He began around 5 this morning after an all-nighter of procedural votes. And he's just trying to delay this thing and get attention. We're told that the House record for the longest speech is like 8 hours, 38 minutes. Maybe that's how long he's going to go. Maybe that's what he's trying to do, because he's not going to get on the record books for any other reason, Lord knows. He's like Cory Booker without the charisma. Yeah, I said it. Paint that picture in your mind's eye for a moment. Why don't you? Here's a quick look.
We are watching as the big, beautiful bill is just one successful House vote away from landing on President Trump's desk. But as we've been watching all morning long, House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries, he is holding up that final vote. He's been speaking on the House floor for about 6 hours now, and he's expected to keep going.
Yeah, he is. And he is still going. You know how bad it is there? Here's the thing. They framed the picture as if the entire left side, Democrat side of the House is full of members. It's not. They've just filled up the seats right behind him because they know where the camera is, and they want to make sure that it looks like all the Democrats are just hanging on every word. But they're not. In fact, it's rather pathetic.
I feel the obligation, Mr. Speaker, to stand on this House floor and take my sweet time to tell the stories of the American people.
Yeah, so that was at 6 a.m. Eastern time. Fast forward about 2.5 hours into Hakeem Jeffries taking his own sweet time, and take a look at the people sitting behind him that were so excited there at 6 a.m.
Members of House Democratic leadership, thankful for the leaders of every single committee who's been battling hard to push back against the cruelty that is in this one big, ugly bill. Thankful for the leadership of Richie Neal. Thankful for the leadership of Frank Pallone. Thankful for the leadership of Brendan Boyle. Thankful for the leadership of Angie Craig. I'm thankful for the leadership, the principal leadership of every single member of the House Democratic Caucus.
Every single member of the House Democratic Caucus. The ones who were still awake, that is. He's literally putting them to sleep in the camera shot right behind him. The woman in pink is Nancy Kopitar is her name. She's Marcy, excuse me. Marcy Kaptur. She's a congresswoman. She fell asleep several times. We actually got it on camera. They were like poking her to wake her up during Hakeem Jeffries' speech. And it finally got so bad that they had to pull her. They pulled her out. They said, no, forget it. We can't have you falling asleep on camera anymore. So now watch what happens as they yank her out of her seat and then who they replace her with. It's actually quite the allegory for where the Democrats are right now.
When you launch an all-out assault on the health care of the American people, when you effectively end Medicaid as we know it.
As you can see, they just pulled her out. Said, honey, you're falling asleep too much. We can't have you fall here. Yeah, we got a replacement. It's the dude in a dress. They went the dude in the dress. Hold on, that's my favorite part. There you go. That's the pecking order now for the Democrats. All right. We don't need you old ladies in pink anymore. We're done with you. You helped us on abortion and the war on women. That's so 90s. You're not necessary for us anymore, and you're making us look bad. You fall asleep. Hey, bring in the dude in a dress. No, that's who we need now. That's how we're raising money. Bring in the dude in a dress. And there's I'm sorry, congressperson dude in a dress from Delaware. Don't you know? So here's Hakeem Jeffries basically doing what's tantamount to a filibuster, trying to stop progress and stop the tax cuts that you're entitled to here that's about to get voted on. It's all futile. It means nothing. It's going to happen. Tim Burchett took notice of what was going on here, which is basically a filibuster, took to X and he reposted one of Hakeem Jeffries' tweets. Says, this seems timely. What is the tweet? This one. Hakeem Jeffries, the filibuster is a racially tinged artifact of the Jim Crow era. We cannot let it stand in the way of progress. I mean, they're owning themselves as we watch. Wesley Hunt of Texas also said now might be a good time to remind America that Hakeem Jeffries wrote these tweets. The tweet was, now might be a good time to remind America that the filibuster does not appear anywhere in the Constitution. That's not stopping our guy, Hakeem Jeffries. Now, Tim Burchett, excuse me, who I just mentioned, he's been on a roll lately. CNN loves having him on, and I don't know why, because he makes them look like morons every single time. And it happened again last night. They tried to play a gotcha game with him over the CBO estimates. Watch.
The CBO, which you put so much trust in for years and years, that you passed a resolution wanting estimates read before bills, is very clear about how many people are going to be kicked off of health care until you were against the CBO.
No, ma'am. You listen. If you want to do the editorial, just go ahead. You don't need me on here. But the
These
CBO,
are facts, sir. I don't have to editorialize.
I would like to see what the economic output of every bill. You as a taxpayer should want that too. And the CBO is the only organization we have. If I could allow a private accounting firm to do it, I would much rather that happen. But the reality is it would have to be the CBO. And what do you have against knowing how much each bill is spent? Why does the media oppose that? Why do you all on the left always fight every chance at America knowing what's going on? The problem y'all have with this bill, ma'am, is that it gets government out of our way and lets Americans make some decisions. And maybe hardworking Americans would have a better choice and a better shot at life in this country without you all just telling us how bad things are going and trying to construct, and as you're doing with me, trying to dictate what I've said. And the reality is the CBO is a partisan organization. And the reality is America has a right to know how much we're spending on every piece of legislation. I cannot believe you as a member of the media would not want open records. And that is exactly what that bill would do.
Sir, we have reported on what is in this bill. We do that time and again.
Ma'am, you all are trying to scare. Are you talking about the big, beautiful bill? You all just try to scare America by telling millions of people are going to be cut off this thing. You're talking about the people that are on it illegally, that are gaming the system. And that is, and
no, we're not. The CBO,
the
CBO is very clear.
The bill does not do anything of what you've said. And all you've done is scare America, and you're not doing a service to this country, ma'am. And you all ought to start talking. You want to talk about transparency, and then there you are attacking me on a bill where I'm trying to make it transparent to how much we're spending on each piece of legislation. That doesn't make a lot of sense to me.
You wanted to have the CBO estimate, and you're now railing
because
against
that is
CBO
the only
estimates.
organization. That is the only organization at our disposal
Hey,
to do that.
good enough for you, and we are reporting on it. Congressman Tim Burchett, thank you so much for being with us.
Thank you, ma'am. It's been a real pleasure.
That's my favorite part. Thank you, ma'am. It's been a real pleasure. It really has been a pleasure because that's what he does every time he's on, and it's a beautiful thing. I think my favorite Breonna Keeler face is this Breonna Keeler face. If we could just do a quick zoom in on that. Oh, I've made a horrible mistake. Why did I do this? Why did I attempt this gotcha moment against Tim Burchett? Who put this on the teleprompter? Who's producing this pile of crap that I'm stuck on? Why did I follow journalism? Why didn't I just go into engineering when I was in college? What a life I've got. It was a bad move. Earlier in the day yesterday, Tim Burchett was part of a congressional contingent at the White House, hammering out some final details on the aforementioned big, beautiful bill. You know, there is a concern from Republicans that there are debt issues in the federal government. And although this tax cut is going to go through, and it's an important piece of legislation to make sure that the president's tax cuts do go through and his 2017 tax cuts get locked in and not sunsetted at the end of this year. At the same time, they want to make sure that they've got commitments on cutting spending starting tomorrow. Well, starting Monday after the Independence Day weekend holiday, as they go into the appropriations process and actually do the hard work of reforming the spending that's going on in Congress. So Burchett, along with other members of the House, went to the White House to talk about that with the president and his posse. And as he was leaving the White House, well, he shared his thoughts on what just happened.
Hey, everybody, Tim Burchett. Just leaving the White House. Everybody say, hey, Byron Donalds, next governor of Florida.
It's great to be on with Jimmy B.
Scott Perry, my number one man, general. I got Norman, got Hakeem over here. Got us all, baby. President was wonderful, as always. Informative, funny. Told me he liked seeing me on TV, which is kind of cool. Hey, Commissioner, look at there. Commissioner wearing purple. That's a color of loyalty.
Are we getting it done?
Yes, ma'am.
Good to see y'all.
I'm a happily married man. Oh, you see
I'm
that?
so sorry, I'm
She
knocking
clipped
you
me,
over.
man. She clipped me. Did y'all see that? Anyway,
I'm good.
big day today, folks. Hopefully we get this thing worked out. President answered all our questions, was very informative. J.D. Vance was there. It was just a very good day. Anyway, thank y'all so much for sending me here. We'll hopefully get this worked out and do some great things for this country. You agree, Byron?
Say that again.
Do some great things for this country, get this worked out.
Yeah, we get this worked out. We're going to do great things for America. Great meeting with the president. Folks, he's a man of his word. Says what he means what he says.
That's right. He doesn't mince too many words.
No, he does not. Not at all.
Anyway, thank y'all for sending me here. Again, I'm very humbled that a kid from West Hills is sitting there talking to the president, having a very good conversation. And thank y'all so much for sending me here. I'm incredibly humbled.
What he signed for you?
Yeah, he signed a bunch of stuff. It's cool. Anyway, thank y'all for sending me here.
Thank you all for sending me here. It kept saying it over and over again. Kid from the West Hills of Tennessee going here, talking to the president. Thanks for sending me here. I show you this, not just to sort of get an insight into how things went at the White House yesterday that sort of locked in all the final people on the fence for the vote today that will happen as soon as Hakeem Jeffries shuts his yap. But do you remember yesterday where we showed you all of the selfie videos that the Democrats put out? They were all scripted. They were all talking from the same script with the same talking points. And it was all fake and phony and fraudulent and staged and disingenuous and cringe and stupid and forced. And this, did you see? I mean, it's just, I'm sorry, but we're the party of the normals. We're just normal, real, wholesome. You know, oh, look who that, I know that person, come give me a hug. And here's Byron Donalds, here with that. It's like, and these are the actions and behaviors of people with confidence who know who they are and don't need to pretend that they're anything else. And they're just getting stuff done left and right. And it sort of makes you feel good for once to be on that team. Also, the Vice President of the United States, who I believe also was part of that meeting with Tim Burchett, he retweeted that video and said, Tim is one of the best. That's a pretty good endorsement from the Vice President. All right, should we check? All right, we're going to check back in with Hakeem Jeffries, see if he's anywhere closer to
On a deportation machine that will be unleashed on steroids by this one big ugly bill. We know that, in fact, is the case. That's not hyperbole. It's not a hypothetical. It's not hype. J.D. Vance told us the other day, don't worry about the cuts to Medicaid. Don't worry about the fact that this is the largest cut to Medicaid in American history. Don't worry about the fact that millions of Americans, more than 17 million Americans, will lose their health care, and many more will experience higher premiums, copays, and deductibles, whose life will measurably get worse as a result of this one big ugly bill.
I'm sorry, what was that first part he said, though, real fast, before he started lying about Medicaid and telling you that people are losing their health care when, in fact, it's able-bodied young men who should never be on Medicaid in the first place, who have been freeloading off of you and gaming the system. They're going to be kicked off, rightfully so. But what was that first thing he said again?
By the deportation machine, a deportation machine that will be unleashed on steroids by this one big ugly bill.
I'm sorry, I thought he was up there to sort of like knock down people's support for this bill. A deportation machine unleashed on steroids in this bill. Are we allowed to vote twice for this? Dude, I mean, thank you for the support, but I think it's already got the votes. In fact, just an hour ago, J.D. Vance put this out. GOP congressman just texted me. I was undecided on the bill, but then I watched Hakeem Jeffries, and now I'm a firm yes. Like I said yesterday, even if you're not sure if this bill is the right thing or not, the behavior of the Democrats and the media should lock your support in. If they hate it this much, it's got to be good. And you're going to get it. You're going to get your tax cut, the one that Trump promised, and then the economy is going to be unleashed. And all we got to do, only thing left to be done is for Hakeem Jeffries to sit down and shut up.